Hello, dear students and friends. Today I'm going to discuss a wonderful poem written by P.B. Shelley. The name of the poem is Ode to a Skylark. This stands out as one of the most delightful poems ever written in English literature. So let's begin the poem. The poem consists of 21 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 5 lines. So let's begin with the first stanza. Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Now, here the poet Shelley addresses the skylark. Rather, he greets the skylark, and the poem begins with the speaker Shelley pointing out to the skylark in the sky. He calls out to the bird, not in greeting but in reverence. He shows his respect to the bird. He hails the bird, he greets the bird, and he is amazed at the sight, and as the reader will later discover the song of the bird, because this is a wonderful bird producing joyous songs. He refers to the bird as the blithe spirit, meaning happiness or joyful. More details will follow in the poem, but Shelley sees this bird as the epitome of joy, as a symbol of joy. It is no less a bird and more an essence, a spirit. It is the best of all birds. It appears so beautiful to Shelley at that moment that he claims it has come from heaven, or at the sky, or at least from somewhere near it. The bird is swooping in the sky and pouring from its heart a song that is described as profuse or abundant and full of unpremeditated art. It is an artful song that is not planned or scripted, and is therefore all the more beautiful. In stanza 2, Shelley writes, higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire, the blue deep thou wingest, and singing still thou soar, and soaring ever singest. In the second stanza of the poem, Shelley makes some additional observations. The bird is not stopping its ascent, but it is flying higher still. It is flying higher and higher, as if it has sprung up from the earth, as if it has taken off from the earth. It compares the skylark to a cloud of fire. It is powerful and unstoppable. Perhaps the bird is returning to the heaven from where it first came. Even though the bird is still ascending, it also keeps up its song. It does the two simultaneously, or at the same time. It still does soar, and soaring ever singest. In stanza 3, Shelley continues, in the golden lightning of the sunken sun, over which clouds are brightening, thou dost float and run, like an unbodied joy whose race is just begun. Now, in the third stanza, The bird is ascending up towards the golden lightning of the sun. The sun is sunken or low on the horizon, a most likely setting for the day, probably the hour of sunset, giving the scene greater ambience, as sunrise and sunset have always been seen as magical times. It flies up over the clouds that are closest to the sun. It is as if the bird is floating and running. Behind the skylark is the power of unbodied joy that doesn't run out of energy. Its race is just begun. In stanza 4, the pale purple even melts around thy flight like a star of heaven. In the broad daylight, thou art unseen, but yet I hear thy shrill delight. At this point of the poem, the bird becomes obscured in the pale purple sky. The sun is truly going down and the light in the sky is changing. It seems to melt around the skylark as it flies. Shelley compares this scene to one that the reader might come across during the day. As one casts their eye to the sky during the day, it is impossible to see stars, but yet one knows they are there. The same thing stands true for Shelley, who senses the bird's presence but can no longer see it. It is as if the bird has become a star of heaven, or perhaps it already was. Stanza 5. Keen as are the arrows of that silver spear, whose intense lamp narrows in the white dawn clear, until we hardly see, we feel that it is there. In the 5th stanza, Shelley makes a comparison between the bird and the moon. He is directly relating happiness and joy to the beauty of the natural world, a theme that Shelley was not unfamiliar with. The bird is as keen as the arrows of light that emanate from the silver spear, that is the moon. At night the moon is intensely bright, but during the day, once white dawn clears, it is very hard to see. It eventually disappears, but we still know and feel that it is there.